Sales was never meant to be your destination. Sales was meant to be a bridge into entrepreneurship. Here and there, people come to me and say, but Brian, I don't want to be or stay in sales for the rest of my life, and neither did I. Most people don't. And that is okay, because there are different paths you can take after sales. When I first got into sales, high ticket sales in particular, I got to 20K to 30K a month in commissions in my first full year. I make more than that now as a business owner while having a better lifestyle. We've also helped people get into high ticket sales or increase the commissions, get to 10K to 30K a month in commissions as a high ticket closer. And then after that, transition into different ventures where they can get to 30K a month, 70K a month, 100K a month while having more leverage and having a better lifestyle also. Am I saying that you're gonna do the same? No, I don't know you. I don't know your skills. I don't know your work ethic. I don't know your ability to follow instructions. If you want safe guarantees, you go flip burgers at Burger King instead. But what we are going to talk about is something that pretty much no other sales trainer will talk about, because if they talk about paths after sales, then they cannot keep selling you sales training, right? And nothing wrong with it. I'm not here to say like I'm the good guy, I'm the white knight, I'm some like virtue signaling, whatever. I'm not running a charity, right? I'm here to also make money, but I'm also going to share what I've done and what we help our members do to not stay in sales forever, but use sales as a bridge into other ventures they want to get into. So when I first got into sales, high ticket sales, I didn't want to get into it because the notion I had was, well, I don't want to be talking to people all day. I'm an introvert. I just want to be by myself. I don't want to be on the phones all day. I don't want to just objection handle people all day. I don't want to go work for somebody. I want to have my own business. And I remember being on the phone with my, at the time, you could call him a mentor, you can call him a guide. I don't really have a name for him. His name's Tom, okay? And when Tom and I were talking on the phone.
Yeah, and I thought about that too. I just feel like I keep starting from ground zero because I've done that, where like I started a business and like, okay, maybe I'm not ready yet. And so I wanted them work for someone else. And then I started my business again. And then I'm doing that again. It's just like, you know, and I just feel like I keep, you know, starting from zero each time. I know it's not zero exactly, but I just feel like
it's kind of zero. Like, just put your ego to the side, and like, sales is good, you know, it helps you help people. Like, that's the whole point of sales, help people. Like, you'd be good at sales, you could make some money, and then you know what you could do after that, bro? It's crazy. Then you could start your own business.
And in there, I tell Tom the same thing. I don't want to go work for somebody. And Tom's like, well, dude, right now you don't know what the you're doing. Because at the time what was happening was I tried all these businesses, right? I tried being a YouTuber. I tried doing affiliate marketing. I tried doing SMMA when it was a hot thing back then. I tried making blogs. I tried copywriting. I tried different coaching businesses, course businesses. And either I didn't make any money in any of them, or it just wasn't enough money for me to have the lifestyle and to have the life that I wanted. And I was like, why is this? Like, is there something wrong with me? Because when I bought these courses, right, I would see other people inside the Facebook group of the other people who bought the courses where like they're making money and they're getting clients. And I was like, man, like, why can't I figure this out? And it took me a long to realize that the people, usually the people that were succeeding in those courses, they had other skills prior to starting the business. As an example, I remember there's this one dude who was just like picking up clients like crazy in like the SMMA course I bought. And I realized this way later is they were a salesperson before they started the agency. Because here's the thing about the business, right? It all sounds sexy and very easy. And it obviously is all of our marketers' job to make it sound more easy so you get into it in the first place, right? It is just what it is, right? And so some people take it too far. But sometimes the counter argument is that, well, you know, if it doesn't sound easy, that you don't get to it in the first place, or you didn't even try at all. So I guess whatever, you can make your own judgment for that. But I do the opposite though, right? I try to make it sound like, dude, it's not gonna be easy, it's hard. But the whole trying to make is the reason why I failed in all those businesses, for most people too, right? Is because as a business owner, you gotta learn so many different skills, and it takes a certain level of character traits for someone to succeed as a business owner. Like there's a stat out there, right? A percentage of people that try to start a business fail. And that's because you got to learn, it's not just like you start a business and like within 90 days you get the 10K a month guaranteed. No, nothing's guaranteed in life. You got to know how to do market research, right? You got to know which market segments to go into, because certain markets, dude, you go in there, it's not impossible, but it's like very difficult to succeed, right? In my space is saturated and competitive, right? So I gotta, like, it takes a different type of person to like have some success to go into the market and succeed, right? That's number one. Number two, you got to know how to do marketing, right? With the marketing, there's different things, right? You got to know how to do copywriting. You got to know how to make content. Dude, there's so many content on the internet, like Instagram and YouTube. Most people, they don't even get seen because they don't know how to get their content out there. They don't know how to structure the content in a way. They don't know how to make content properly. And then later on there, you have ads, right? Paid ads. You got to spend money in ads, right? Thousands of dollars, that's not tens of thousands of dollars a month, right? It's not like you put up ads and like you're printing money. No. You're gonna suck for like 5 or 6 months. You're not gonna make any money. You're gonna be negative, speaking from personal experience. Then you gotta know how to do lead generation. You gotta know how to do appointment setting. You gotta know how to do closing. You gotta know how to do objection handling, discovery, follow-up. You also gotta know how to deliver the product or service properly, because you don't wanna sell something at least I don't. And then as well, you have admin, you have client success, you have finances, the list goes on and on. There's a recruiting, hiring, managing, trading, all those kind of things. As well, it takes certain character traits, because as a business owner, nobody's holding you accountable. And it sounds easy, like it takes a certain amount of character traits, right? Discipline as well. Stress tolerance. You're wearing all the hats in the beginning. You're doing literally everything. You don't know how long that phase is gonna last. And so certain people can do it for sure, but those people are usually outliers. And so for most people, they try to get into business, try to become a business owner or whatever, they just don't have all the skills and the foundations necessary to succeed as a business owner, at least at a higher probability. And so later looking back at it, well, it only made sense that I failed in all these businesses. So that's when I think I saw an Alex Hormozi video. Tom sent me an Alex Hormozi video. Long story short, what Hormozi was saying was, if you want to succeed in business, go succeed within inside of another business. And so it's like, okay, how the do I do that? It's like the best and the more straightforward way to do that is fucking sales, right? There's also other statistics, right? What is that? Like 75% of self-made billionaires they have some sort of sales experience. The most cliche and well-known example is people like Warren Buffett as an example. So how Warren Buffett started, at least according to like Wikipedia and things like that, is he started as an investment salesman for 12 years, by the way. So he was an investment salesman for 12 years. And then he became the 6th richest human on earth. I think he's worth $154 billion with a B. Some more, I guess, relatable examples, some more well-known in our space is Tony Robbins. He started with event sales, like selling event tickets for in-person seminars. And then obviously he started his own business, things like that, as far as my knowledge. And he also says that influence, aka sales, is the most powerful skill. You gotta master influence. Doesn't matter what you do. And there's people like Andrew Tate and Tristan Tate. Doesn't matter what your opinion is. To be frank, that's besides the point. They started as window salesmen. They're like knocking on doors and, selling windows pretty much. And then after that, they started their own business. And I think they're making like $4 million a month or something like that.
I think sales jobs are probably the best job any person can get. If I had to get a job again, it'd be a sales job, because you learn a lot as a salesman. And sales is a really important skill. And also, if you're actually good at it, it's not even really like having a job. They don't fire the top salesman.
Yeah, no, they don't.
No, they do not fire the top salesman. You turn up late, you crash your car. Well, sorry, G, boom, here's my numbers. Like, oh.
And also, we all know Alex Hormozi. Recently he made $104 million in sales in one day, or like 3 days or something like that, right? I think his company does like $250 million a year. How he started was he was an apprentice. He basically sold at a gym for someone else's gym, learned the ropes, and then he started his own gyms. He became successful at that, and he helped other people grow their gyms. And then later on, he started acquisition.com, and he's where he is now. So the list goes on and on and on, but just to name a few examples. And by the way, if you want to know more like the tactical step-by-step plan on how to even break into high-ticket sales and how to succeed in high-ticket sales, we put together a mini course. It's called the Ultimate Guide into Breaking into High-Ticket Sales. It's a 2026 edition. We actually made a new one. So it goes over how to land the role, how to conduct the discovery, pre-handle objections, objection handle, sell in this particular industry, things like that. So you can go to the link in the description box below right after this video, and you can go there. So that's when I saw the pattern. I was like, it's pattern recognition, right? Okay, cool. Like all these people, like successful people we know, and I want to make that much money, and I want to have kind of like a life like them, at least in some capacity. They all start from some sort of sales. So it's like, okay, it makes sense. What Hormozi is saying to me makes sense. All I knew was that I didn't want to be in sales for the rest of my life, even before getting in. As I was telling my best friend at the time, I was like, dude, I'll probably do this for like maybe 1 year, maybe 2 years, and then I'll get out, right? But I knew exactly what I was doing it for. I knew the purpose of it. It was to stack cash, right? And figure out what I was going to do in the meantime after this, as well as learn sales, because I knew it doesn't matter what venture I went into, I knew I needed to become a fucking savage at sales to be successful at it. And while I'm doing it, I learned ropes within inside of an organization, as well as build my network of people in different functions. And that's exactly what I did. So I'll give you different examples of a career progression path on how a human being comes into high ticket sales and how they ascend later on getting to their own venture. That way you see the roadmap, okay? So when you first break into high ticket sales, you'll either start as a setter or a closer, okay? What's the fucking difference? So setter is the one that's setting appointments, doing a quick 10-minute call, calling up the leads outbound. Now, these are not cold calls or door knocking where they have zero idea who you are. These are gonna be warmer leads than that, where they at least requested information. They may have forgotten, but you can do a quick reminder, and at least for the most leads you talk to, they have some sort of interest at some point, right? So you call them up, it's like a 10-minute conversation, and you book them onto the closer's calendar. If and when the closer closes the deal on that call, then you get commission off of that, okay? Closer is the one that's doing the closing the deal, right? Those sales calls. These are usually inbounds, okay? You sit down and you take like a 30 or 45-minute sales call, and then you close the deal and you collect the cash. Pretty fucking straightforward. Now, what's the typical income potential for these different roles? It really varies, right? It varies on the role you got into. It depends on your skill set. It depends on your work ethic. So many different factors. I'll give you some general numbers, okay? For a setter, they'll be anywhere between like 3K to 10K a month. Now, for our members, like we've had outliers where they get into an opportunity where their top SDR, aka setter, is making about 24K a month, right? Not OTE, but they actually made that according to the business. So, but I'll say that's more of an outlier, right? But for like a setter, like 3 to 8K a month, like 10K a month, we have members inside of our program, like as a setter, they're making like 10 to 12K a month, but you get the whole gist, okay? And that's, by the way, income in your pocket. Like I'm not saying you're gonna make that, just give me some difference. As a closer, 10K a month is not something fucking crazy. 20K a month, 30K a month, so forth. It's not like something crazy in commissions in their pocket, USD, okay? But again, it's not like you get into high ticket sales and you make that. Most people don't make that, to be fair. A lot of people make a lot less than that. You just gotta have the right opportunity. You gotta have the right skill set. You gotta know what the you're doing, right? Just like anything. So let's say you do that for a bit, right? And how much you do that for, it really depends on your situation, your needs, so on and so forth, right? I've seen people stay in closing for, you know, like maybe like 6 months, 12 months, as well as like 2, 3, 5 years, like whatever you want to do, okay? And then after that, there's different paths you can go down, okay? So you can go into management/leadership role within inside of the company or into a different company, right? I've personally been offered sales management roles, chief revenue officer roles. Also, depending on the company, there's VP of sales, sales director, chief sales officer, chief revenue officer. These are all different branches, right? So you can do that for one organization, or you can do a fractional. You can be a fractional CSO, CRO, meaning that you're doing it for maybe 2 or 3 different companies. And essentially what you're doing there as a management role, it really depends on the company and the job title, to be fair, but it could be something like managing the sales reps, meaning that making sure they're doing the admin, making sure they're hitting KPI, if not what's going on, reviewing their calls. Or maybe you're talking with the marketing team to coordinate the sales process. There's different things, right? So that's one path. Another path is starting a sales agency, meaning that, okay, you get to a certain level, you can close at a decent level, right? At that point, what you do is you do an agency, right? So you go and find clients, companies that need a sales done for them, right? So they want an outsourced sales team and you have sales reps underneath you. You train them up because at this point you've gotten some skill set, right? You talk to businesses, they got money, they don't want to worry about managing a sales team internally, and you just basically put your sales reps on their offer, on their company. They take the sales calls and you take a cut and revenue share. You can also go into sales recruitment/sales placement, meaning that you're placing sales reps internally into businesses. So it's basically staffing. A lot of good money in there for sure, as long as you do it correctly. And also you can become a business owner in different niches. Or you can become an investor, meaning that you're investing into crypto, trading, real estate, things like that. The commissions you make, you invest and parlay that into different opportunities, investment vehicles. That way the money starts to make money for you. So I've managed teams, I've trained teams, I've been offered CRO opportunities where the income potential would have been like 50K a month plus. For our members, once they get to 10K, 15K, 20K a month in commissions, maybe they go into managing different offers, aka companies, and training different companies. We've also had members that get to about 15 to 20K a month in commissions. And then after that, they start their sales agency, they get to 95K a month. We've also had members that come in, they get to about 20K to 30K a month in commissions as a closer. And then later on, they go into more sales operations, meaning that maybe they're helping a particular business with recruiting, hiring, training, managing their sales reps, designing sales processes, helping with the onboarding of the sales reps coming into the company. And they get a fat profit share. They get to 70K a month onward. And we also have members that come into our program that get to 15 to 20K a month in commissions as a closer. And later on, they start their own offer. They start their own business. So as an example, Tommy's one of our examples, right? He was, as a closer, he got to 15 to 20K a month in commissions selling BizOp. After that, he started his own offer. What he started was at a business that helps men recover from porn addiction, which is a very beautiful thing. So last time I checked, he was doing about 8K a week. He started to pay for his mother's mortgage. And now recently he's retiring his girlfriend, so she doesn't have to work anymore. She can stay home, which is a beautiful thing. We've also had other members start AI agencies or do other type of addiction recovery businesses as well as personal friends I have, right? Personal friend I have, he was a top sales rep at a hedge fund for 7 years straight. And then he worked himself up into becoming a CMO, chief marketing officer. And then later on, he started his own hedge fund, Very, very successful guy. Drives a G-Wagon, lives in one of the most expensive cities in the world, has a good life. Right now he works about what, like 30 to 40 hours a week. After 5, 6 p.m., he just goes on a dinner date or sees friends on the weekends. He's going wake surfing and things like that, traveling all the time. Lives a very good life. As well as I've had other friends that take the commissions they make and they part of that into crypto, real estate, things like that. They start to have to make the money work for them. That way they don't have to work forever. But the thing is, could these individuals could have done and gotten the level of success they have right now had they not gotten into sales and high ticket sales in particular? Maybe, right? I would say maybe the probability would have been a lot lower, right? Because the reason why these individuals have been able to do that is because they skill set stacked, right? So they could not have closed the deals as well, at least, if they have not learned how to do sales. Because me as a salesperson, number one, I learned sales, right? As well as once you get better sales, you start to learn marketing because sales and marketing go hand in hand. And then after that, you also learn fulfillment and delivery because fulfillment and delivery also go hand in hand with sales. So you're learning different functions of a business as well as you're building your network. You meet different people inside of fulfillment, lead generation, marketing, or product development. These people, you meet those people later on could actually help you down the line and provide value to each other. So this really is a cheat code. Everybody says start a business, fuck working for somebody else, don't build someone else's dream. And that's a very one-sided advice because everybody's different. At least for me, and for our members that come into our program, Real Sales System, this has been a cheat code where we become successful sales reps, right? And high ticket, especially because high ticket is more transferable skill. And then later on, you can go into whatever path you desire. And like I said, instead of trying to jump from one side of the cliff to another, right? And you don't know what the you're doing, you have a bridge. You simply walk through that bridge. So if you want to break into high ticket sales or if you want to become successful in high ticket sales, we put together a mini course, 2026 edition, going over how to even break into the industry. How do you land quality roles? How do you conduct the discovery, objection handling, become a successful sales rep? We put together that. Go to the link in the description box below and I'll see you there.